Hello all. In this video we will talk about the problem of the day for Friday, which was look and say pattern. We are given an integer n and we have to return the nth row for the given pattern. This was the pattern given in the question and we have to find the nth row. So this is the first row, this is the second row, this is the third row, this is the fourth row, fifth row, and similarly we have to find some nth row. So I think the question is clear now. We have to find the nth row for the given pattern. So from this, what I can see that it can be solved using two approaches, an integer approach or a string approach. Why integer approach? Because the number are can be integers. Numbers are being taken in integers or some mathematical operation can be performed to find the given pattern. And in string approach, when the number are taken as characters or character, when the number are taken in character and we find some pattern. For integer approach, we come across an example of Fibonacci series. So it might happen that there is some mathematics operation that we perform to find the given string or for to find the given number. It might be possible, and for here we get some 1 1 something like this operations, the such patterns in the string. So coming to the mathematics approach or the integer approach, coming over this part, uh, IM approach. So let me write the pattern first. 1 1 2 1. I can find something from these two. From these two, I can find something that this has a difference of 10. But I can easily find some limitation from the codes from this numbers, that as as the value of I increases, as I increases, the upper bound increases. So let me clear this to you, that 1 11 21. For this, we have an upper bound of 10 raised to the power 0, or sorry 1. It comes within the range 1 to 10. This comes within the range 1 to 100. Same case here. And similarly, this is 10 raised to the power 4, from 0 to 10 raised to the power 4, and this is 0 to 10 raised to the power 6. For fifth term, we are getting 0 to 10 raised to the power 6. As in the question it is mentioned that n lies between 1 to 10 raised to, for 230, right? So we, for fifth term, we are getting an upper bound of 10 raised to the power 6. Similarly, when we go to some eighth term, it is possible that we get some 10 raised to the power 7 to 10 raised to the power 10 as the upper bound. Okay. For ninth term, it is possible that we get some value 10 raised to the power 8 to 10 raised to the power 11. For 10th, it is possible that we get some value 10 raised to the power 9 to 10 raised to the power 12. And similarly, for some 20th term, it is possible that we get 10 raised to the power 19 to 10 raised to the power 22. And similarly for 30, for 30 it is possible that we get some value 10 raised to the power 29 to 32, right? Because as the value of I increases, as I increases, 10 raised to the power x or the upper bound increases, right? Upper bound is increasing as the value increases. Therefore we get some limitation at this point, some other limitation at this point and this point. What are the limitations? Let me give you a glance over this. So what we had, what is the upper bound limit for integer? Unsigned integer as an upper bound of 2 raised to the power 32, and which is nearly equal to 2 into uh, 10 raised to the power 9, right? So look over these terms, these two terms over here, these two terms over here. Is it possible? Oh, yes, these two terms over here. So is it possible that it can cross this limit? Yes, it is easily possible for if the upper bound for this is 10 raised to the power 11, it is going to cross this limit. If it is 10 raised to the power 12, it is going to cross this limit. So we will get some wrong answer over here, some wrong values over here, wrong answer. So it is failing for this. So what if we use unsigned long integer? So unsigned long integer has 2 raised to the power 64 as the upper bound, which is nearly equal to 4 into 10 raised to the power 20. So now it works on these two also. But now coming to the 20th, this part, what is happening here, that we are getting some value that is greater than this. What if the upper bound of 20 is 22, right? If it is 22, then we will get some wrong answer over here also. Wrong answer for this value. Why? Because it is exceeding this 4 into 10 raised to the power 20 limit. Therefore, finally, we conclude that it is not possible. Why it is not possible? So look at this 38th example. We get 29 as the minimum value. So for example, if it is 29, but it is crossing this value, 10 raised to the power 29 is greater than this value, right? The upper bound is greater than this value. So we will be getting some wrong answer over here. So that's why we are not using the unsigned long int also. But in C++, we don't have any big integer class. So we have to create some big integer class or left it here, and if string pattern is not getting completed, we will be coming over here too to implement the big integer class. We are lefting it right now, okay? Because upper bound limit is equal to 4 into 10 raised to the power 20, and it is filling on the range 20 to 30. It will be giving wrong answer. That's why we are leaving it here right now. Now coming to the string approach, we had two approaches as we read earlier. We had two approaches: the integer approach and the string approach. We have left the string approach in between, this integer approach in between. Now we will be coming to the string approach. So what does string approach says? Let's have a glance over this. What does string approach says? So let me write the string approach. So what does string approach says? Let me write the pattern also. 2 1. So from these two, I am getting something which is not same as these two, but from these two I am getting some other thing. And let me check, in these two I am getting the same thing also. Which was I getting in these two? Yes, I am getting these two. So let me tell you what I am getting. So this is the 21, this is 1211. So what does this say? And one consecutive one over here, one consecutive one over here. So let me check from this value. We are getting one consecutive 2 over here. So this is 1 and this is 2. This is representing this value. This is representing this value. Similarly, this is representing this value and this one is representing this value over here. So is it getting clear? Right? We have two consecutive one over here. So we are separating this out. So this is one consecutive 2 over here and one consecutive 1 over here. So these two are representing this value and these two are representing this value. So let me make this clear up. So 1 2 1 1. So what it is saying, that it is the count value and it is the main value. Similarly, it is the count value, it is the main value. Right? For every two, we are getting a count value and a main value. Alternate. And these are alternate, right? So this is 2. One consecutive 2. So the count of consecutivity is 1 and the value is 2. Count is 1 and the value is 2. For this, we have a consecutive count as 1 and the value is 2. Consecutive count is 1 and the value is 2. Oh, the value is 1 also here. So I think it is getting clear. But since it is only one case and we can't summarize it in only one case, so let's take the second and third value. So it is 1 1 and it is 2 1, right? So it has a consecutive count of 1 as 2, 2 consecutive 1, ones are here, right? So this is the count value and this is the main value. So we are getting this from here. So it is working fine in it, but again some less cases are there. So let us derive the fifth term from the fourth term. What does fourth term says? That it is 1 2 1 1 and we have to derive fifth term from here. So it has consecutive count of 1 as 1 and consecutive count of 2 as 1 consecutive 2 and 2 consecutive ones. 2 consecutive ones, right? So 1 consecutive 1 is here, this means it is 1 1. 1 consecutive 2 is here, it is 1 2, because this is the count value and this is the main value. This is the count value and this is the main value. And similarly for this case we have 1 or 2 and 1, count value, main value. So finally what we are getting as fifth term according to our approach is 1 1 1 2 2 1, right? And what was the fifth term in the question? The fifth term in the question was this only, 1 1 1 2 2 1, and we are what we are getting the same answer over here. This is the fifth term we are getting, right? Therefore our approach is correct, we are going to the right path. So let us derive some sixth approach or sixth index or the sixth row from the fifth row. So this was the fifth row which has 3 consecutive ones over here. So 3 consecutive ones over here two consecutive 2 over here, so 2 is there, 2 is the count value, and 1 is the 2 is the main value also, and one consecutive 1 over here, one consecutive 1 over here. This means the count value is 1 and the main value is b. So this is the sixth row we are getting, which is 3 1 2 2 1 1. Okay, so I think it is pretty clear that that we have to use the string approach, because we are getting some answer over here, but in integer approach we left it because it was greater than the upper bound limit, greater than equal to upper bound limit ULL, upper bound limit of ULL UB. Okay, so we left it to implement the big integer class, but it will be very hard implementation and very time consuming. Okay, so that's why we went for a string approach. And what in a string approach we find out that there exists a pattern which has some count value and some main value, and from the previous we are updating the given string, right? For example, what we saw on this, where it was here, from these two, what we get, that we have one consecutive 2, so this is the count value is one consecutive and the value is 2, and one consecutive 1, so this is the count value for 1 and the value is 2. Oh, the value is 1 also here. Okay, so now coming to its code part, now we will be writing some code for this. So let me write the code for this. So this was code part. Code part should come in the picture now. So we have some string str which is initialized as 1 because the first string is 1 only, and for loop from 1 to n to find the string at every position, okay. So what will be generating, we will be generating some temporary string which is initially empty, and we will be updating the string from the previous value of str. So looping from, so in str, loop in str, at every for each position we are calculating some count value is being calculated and the main value is calculated, and as soon as we find these value we are updating the temporary string, and temp will be equal to the count value plus 0 to convert it. This is basically converting an integer to character. So for example, the count value is 3, so it will be converting the string to character. So now initially it was an integer value, now it will be converting to character value, but it will be 3, and the value, since it was also it was initially a char, so therefore we don't need some other value to be stored, and as soon as we find the temp over here, we will be putting str equal to temp and traverse again to this part again. I think the screen is visible, so let me zoom it. So we have to initialize the string str as 1, and we will be looping from 1 to n to find the string at each position, and as soon as we find the final string, we will be returning that string. And we will be declaring some temporary string which is empty initially, and now we will be traversing the str value and keep updating the count value as well as the main value. So as soon as we find it, this is to increase the count. Increase the count. And if as soon as we find the consecutivity is over, what we will be doing, we will be updating the temp value. What this is basically doing is updating the count. This is the updating temp with the count value. Okay. And what C plus 0 is doing, it is, since C is an integer over here, integer, and the temp is a string which contains characters. So we can't add directly C to the temp variable because it is an integer value. So first we will be converting it into the character value, and this is the method to convert it into the character value greater than 0. And now I will be updating the value. Initially it should be 1. Why 1? It is 1 because we are looping from j equal to 0 to j minus 1. So for every value we are first we are keeping the count as 1. So as soon as we find this, so we will be updating C as 1 again. And as soon as the j is over, now we will be updating the value again for the last term, and temp plus equal to str dot back. So str dot back is basically returning the last element of the string, because it is not being calculated over here because it is str dot size minus 1. Why str dot size minus 1? Because if we don't use str dot size minus 1, it will be overlapping over here and index will be out of bound. Index out of bounds. No index out of bounds are here. That's why we are using str dot size minus 1. And as soon as we found the temp, we are having the string as temp, and we are looping again over here, and finally we have got our nth string. So we will be having the str over here. So let me try run the code for n equal to 3. So we have n equal to 3 over here, and we have an initial string as 1, and now it is being, we are looping from 1 to 3, and we are keep updating 1 to 3, and we are keep updating this value. Okay, initially it is blank, right? And as soon as we know that the value of the string is 1, so its size is also 1, so it will not go into this loop. because it is looping from 0 to 0. So it will not go into this loop. Therefore, it will go into this here and converting C to character. So changing temp to 1, and we are having this string dot back, or have we keeping the last element. So the temporary string is being converted to 1, from 1 to 1 1, because it is being added, right? So now for n equal to 2, as we know, the answer over here is 1 1. So for n equal to 2, we are getting the right string over here, n equal to 2. Right, now coming back up again for the second loop. So completed the first loop, now the second loop is being there. So now the string is this temporary is string 0. Now we have changed our string from 1 to double 1, right? Now its size is 2, so it is not looping from 0 to 0. Now it is looping from 0 to 2, right? Initially, the integer of continuity is 1. Therefore, now since the 1 is being calculated over here, so the value for this gets C++, right? Because 1 because the next term is equal to the same term, right? 1 equal to 1. So it is true. So as it is true, therefore it will go into this count and increasing the count value. And as soon as it gets into this count value, so now the loop gets over. Now we are here again with the temporary as initially it was 0, now it is being converted to 2, because the count value over here we will be finding as equal to 2, because we have increased the count over here. Count increased from 1 to 2 over here, right? So temporary is being updated to 2 now. Therefore, after adding the last element, it is being updated to 21. Now for n equal to 2, we have got our string. Now for n equal to 3, we have got 21 as our answer, and here what we got, the answer was 21 also. So now this loops get over, right? This loop get over, therefore we have to come over here and return the string. So let me check the answer for this. So I think we are getting the right answer for 5 also. So right, we are getting some right answer. So let me submit my code. Yes, so I have got the right answer for this. So let me give a quick review to the question. So this was the question given for the problem of the day for the Friday, that we have an integer n and we have to find the nth row for the given question. So this was the first row, second row, similarly fifth row, and then we have to find some nth row. Okay, so we found it. It can be solved using two approaches: the integer approach and the string approach. So first we went to the integer approach, and what we found that there is some limitation with the integer approach, that it was crossing the value over here, and for unsigned integer, it was crossing values over here. Okay, the upper long bound was 4 into 10 raised to the power 20, and this value from 20 to 30 were getting false or the wrong answer. So that's why it was being failed over here, or otherwise we have to implement some big integer class in C++ to implement this. That's why we left it over here, because the implementation is hard, and it is very time consuming. So we came on to string approach. So we wrote the pattern over here, and what we found that we were given two strings, two one, 1211, and this was giving the count value and this was giving the main value for this string. So there is one consecutive 2 over here, and it has one consecutive 1 over here, which was representing this value. So it was representing this value and it was representing this value, right? Similarly, this value is representing this and this value is representing this, and similarly we got our answer for this also. We derived fourth from 5 as it has one consecutive 1, one consecutive 2 and two consecutive 1s. So it was carrying the count value, the main value, again the count value, the main value, the count value, the main value, right? And we derived fifth from here, which was coming the right answer. Oh. Right answer. Okay, and then we found the sixth row, and then we wrote and submit our code at the editor, and we got the right answer. So I think it is all clear. Thank you for joining, and please subscribe to our channel.